Ayy, poppin' like I'm supposed to. Watch out for the people that ain't close to. Speak a little something you could toast to. I ain't tryna hear about what you won't do. Moving like I'm into. Hit the ground running like the rent do. Speak a little something that you're into. I ain't tryna hear about what you been through. Like hold up, say what's the hold up. I got the pack, who got the roll up? I'm tryna pull up. It seem like every time I show up, it gotta go up. See the drip, they see the glow up. Oh, now they know us. See, it's funny how my pockets out of shape, but I fit for the flex. Clear the phone call, hit my chick with a text. Parlay through the bird with my drip from the jets. Save a couple hundred by your with the rest. I prefer my reefer with Henny and Coke. Please don't be stingy, got plenty to smoke. Show up and act up and back to the crib. I do not stun, I just rap what I live. Seem like they doing the most for the clout. Did what I said so they know what I'm about. Show up and act up and back to the crib. I do not stun, I just rap what I live. Ayy, winning like I ought to. I ain't wanna do it, but I got to. Smoking what my doctor told me not to. Got these wishing they was hot too. Ballin' like I need to. Got my exes wishing for a redo. Smell the marijuana when I speed through. Hit her with a tip, that's a preview. Hold up, wait up, get your weight up. Shit, get your money, not your hate up. Boy, draw a play up. I flip my wrist, a layup. She wanna lay up. I gotta get it, I'ma stay up. I'm all the way up. I got my pay up. I ain't playing with you. I'm a coach now. Commentating, do the most now. I be somewhere booted with my toes down. Make little baby tooted with her nose down. I prefer my reefer with Henny and Coke. Please don't be stingy, got plenty to smoke. Show up and act up and back to the crib. I do not stun, I just rap what I live. Seem like they doing the most for the clout. Did what I said so they know what I'm about. Show up and act up and back to the crib. I do not stun, I just rap what I live.
Showtime! What's up, good people? Welcome. Let me know that you can hear me in the chat by typing TBT, as in to be determined, or self-care, whichever most applies to you. TBD, to be determined, or self-care, because it is important for us to prioritize our self-care, which is what I did the past however long I've been gone. I think it's been a little like a week and a half, something like that. And also TBT because TBD because we don't have, well, I shouldn't say we did not have, when I scheduled the live, any topics. I had no idea what I was going to talk about. And so I wanted to let you guys know and send out the notifications. So I just sent them out like, we're going to talk about something. Just know we're going live tonight. So I officially have all of those topics nailed down, and we have a interesting show. It's not a long one. It is not a long one because, again, we talked about self-care, or we mentioned that, and part of my self-care is no more 3-hour lives every blue moon. You know, we get in the mood, but not every week. We can't keep up with that. But anyway, thank you to everyone in the chat who let me know that you can hear me. Precious G, Valerie, Rebecca, RN Smith, and Darlene, and Karen, and Precious, and M. Nicole, and Deshawn, and Fun Size, and Onitra, and Angela, and Nicole, and Deborah, and Dawn, and Alice, and Linda, and Carol, and Paradox Blue, True, Delilah, and M. Nicole, and Jazzy, and Minister, and Vera, Valerie, and everyone else who let me know. I appreciate you. And I was flying through those names. I mispronounced a couple. That's what was stumping me. But thank you to everyone. I really appreciate you guys. And I miss you. I do miss you. I missed y'all. Trust me. It wasn't like, oh, I don't care about them. I don't want to see them. No, I had to balance, my needs versus us. So anyway, tonight, the topics that we have on our agenda is it was heavy out there, y'all. It was a lot of y'all be sending me like nothing but M's that are out there, unalivings, people being murked, fights, just a lot of depressing stuff. I'm like, who do they think I am? Do they think I love this? And it becomes heavy. I'm like, where are the happy stories? Like, so I sometimes have to search for the happy stories to mix in with all the gloom and doom out there that y'all be sending me. So I do have a couple of those stories. Actually, I only have one in here, don't I? Yeah, I only have one. Well, 1.5, I guess. But anyway, we have a attempted mass pow-powing in at a church in I'll just say that. We'll get into the details of the story. Then we have just an update on Tina Turner's son, Ike Jr., who was released from prison recently. Just a little retrospective on his situation. And then we have Amazon CEO who is telling the remote workers, get your asses here back to these buildings, or I guess y'all are gonna have a job. So we'll dig into it. I haven't read the article yet. Then lastly, we have an update on Jennifer Williams, who was Tim Norman's ex-girlfriend, also of she's Basketball Wives and basically reality TV star. And she is now engaged. And so we're going to talk about that, but then we're going to get into the Tim Norman part of that. And but yeah, that's our agenda for tonight. You see it's short. How many stories are that? 4 stories. And of course, we have our missing person segment. So we're going to get right into that. Our first missing person. And if one of our moderators, whether it's the YouTube side or the back end, if you guys can just type in the contact information for these missing people moving forward, not only tonight, but moving forward. Because I'm like, that's just a lot for me to add in, but then be stopping the show to cut and paste and all that. So if you guys can just put it in the chat, the contact information, as I read it out, and I'll make sure to repeat it and read it slowly. It will be greatly appreciated. You helping to co-host the show. Very greatly appreciated. So first up, we have Zyra Myers. This is out of Washington, D.C. We tend to have a lot of these, but I think it's because of the site that I grabbed these from, or the where I grabbed these from. But anyway, Zara rather, is it's saying the Metropolitan Police Department is seeking public assistance in locating 12-year-old Zara Myers, who was last seen in a 1300 block of Kearney Street Northeast on Saturday, August the 26th of 2023. So that was this past Saturday. She is described as a Black female with medium brown complexion. She is 5 feet 4 inches, 130 pounds, with brown eyes and black hair. She was last seen wearing a pink shirt, black shorts, and light pink sneakers. If you have any information that can lead to her whereabouts, please contact. You can do this anonymously. You can call area code 202-727-9099. Again, that's area code 202-727-9099. Or you can anonymously text to 50411. Again, that's 50411 if you want to text. Thank you so much, Alice, for putting that in the chat. And whoever else, I see Alice. I don't know if I missed anybody else. Then we have another teen. I'm going to butcher this name for sure. Adeoyan. I ain't going to even try the last name. But anyway, this is again out of Washington, D.C. He is saying they're looking for their assistance in locating 13-year-old who was last seen on the 4600 block of Hillside Road Southeast on Saturday, August the 26th of 2023. He is described as a Black male, 5 feet 11 inches tall, 200 pounds, with black hair and black eyes. He was last seen wearing white shirt and black sweatpants. If you have any information on him, it's going to be the same contact information as it was for Zara, which was area code 202-727-9099. Again, area code 202-727-9099. And also, you can text anonymously to 50411. Again, that's 50411. And I'm just going to do a quick little check just because we had a situation the last time we did these, a similar kind of story. Okay, they're not from the same location, but we had a story, excuse me. We had a story where there were 2 youth who were missing, 2 teens. And once I read the second one, I realized that they were connected, like they were missing from the same area. And it was kind of like maybe they dipped off together, so to speak, ran away together, you know. And so this just made me, because they were missing on the same date, you know, similar ages. So, but it doesn't, they're not saying that there's any connection. So I don't want to make something up that doesn't exist, but I was just double checking. And then we have Jimmy Brown. Jimmy Brown is 33 years old, male. He has black hair, brown eyes. He is 6 feet 1 inches, about 150 pounds. He was last seen wearing a black shirt, blue jean shorts, black Nike shoes. He has a bald fade hairstyle. Now in this picture, he has locks. So I don't know if this is locks with the bald fade or if the locks are now gone, and that's the most recent picture they had. So be mindful of that. He is missing from the 1700 block of Goin Drive, and he's been missing since August the 19th of 2023. Says victim left, well, they're calling him a victim. Says victim left the location and hasn't returned. Family members are concerned for his safety because he hasn't contacted them. If victim is located, contact police. So, I'm sorry, this is out of Memphis, Tennessee. If you have any information on Jimmy Brown, please contact the Missing Persons Bureau at area code 901-636-4479. Again, 901-636-4479. Yeah, but they're calling him a victim. I find that, like, so obviously they're like, this is not normal for him and for him to be missing. or them not, I guess, hear from him often. So we then have, lastly but not least, Raylon Bivens, and he has been missing since May 5th of 2023. So it's been a while. And he is 27 years old. This is out of Tacoma, Washington. He is a black male, light complexion, 6 feet, 1 inches, 150 pounds, brown hair, short length, and brown eyes. So they're saying short length, but I don't know if that means his hairstyle has changed from this, because I wouldn't necessarily consider this short. I would consider this maybe medium. So he could have a bald fade maybe, or close to it. They say Raylon, also known as RJ, was reported last seen near Prime Grill, and that was at the address is 1701 6th Avenue in Tacoma, Washington. Circumstances of his disappearance are unknown, so no deeper details. But again, the last two I pulled today. The other ones I pulled a couple days ago when I was gonna go live, or starting to pull stuff to go live. And so there may be updates to this. So I need to start giving a disclaimer in the beginning. If you have any information on these cases or updates that I have missed or didn't know when I started reading them, or they've been found to your knowledge. And we have one here. Thank you, Darlene P., who is saying Zyra Myers has been located. Thank you for your help, Metropolitan Police. Thank you so much. Appreciate that, Darlene. This is a team effort, because again, I can't always wait until right before the live to pull them. So sometimes with these missing persons cases, they could be missing, 1 minute, and within the hour or two or half a day it takes me to get it out to y'all, they could be found. So just always be mindful of that. And if you get that information, just let me know, and I will communicate that to our VPO. Oh, I was just about to put that. Thank you so much, Precious G, for the reminder to everyone, because yes, I am only one man. One of our moderators is signed in under my login, so just switch that. I don't know who's posting under my name, but switch that just so I don't want people to be confused. Like, Vale just said this to me, and Vale ain't in the chat. Okay, so that then takes us over to our first story of today, this evening, after our hiatus. And that is the story of an armed white man arrested after attempting to commit a hate crime at a predominantly black church building. And it was reportedly too crowded inside for him to get inside to do what he wanted to do. So it's getting really crazy out there. They're saying here in the article, the Beaver County man was arrested and is facing charges after allegedly threatening people with this is a firearm, because this is YouTube, y'all. It's like I struggle with what words I can use. And trying to enter a predominantly African-American church in Ambridge on Sunday morning. Court records show that Jeffrey Harris, age 38, was threatening people with a shotgun and attempted to enter Greater Dominion Church with a firearm on Sunday. The police reports say Harris was pointing the firearm at 2 women walking at the intersection of Dust Avenue and 4th Street around 9 a.m. One of the women subsequently alerted law enforcement. Thank God they saw him and that he didn't. Yeah, it's crazy. They were quoted with the call that was received as saying there is a white man with a camo vest, red hat, and white t-shirt walking with a possible long firearm. And the responding officers also noted that the pastor and several congregants who worshiped at the church were African-American. The police believe that Harris was attempting to enter the church with the firearm to commit a hate crime. Officers also claimed that Harris was preparing himself for a standoff with police at his home. So with assistance from the Beaver County Regional Police Department, officers located Harris in a business entryway along the 300 block of Merchant Street and arrested him. On Harris persons was a 12-gauge firearm, and officers found ammunition and what was later confirmed to be crystal meth. Once officers arrived at his home along Dust Avenue, they reportedly faced difficulty at the entryway, noting some type of slippery substance was smeared across the porch, evident from the empty bottle found nearby. So he was trying to set up, I guess, some kind of booby trap for the police. He had all this planned out in his head. I'm going to go ahead and create this act. Once I create this act, I'm going to run home, and then I'm going to barricade myself, and then, you know, have a standoff with the police and have them slip and fall on the steps. They found the steps they found the steps up to the residence had some type of lubrication on them. The house appeared ready for a standoff. The investigators added that while searching the home, they discovered a makeshift barrel in front of the door, and a hole was drilled into a weapons case, which would have allowed Harris to fire at the door from a protected position per the criminal complaint. So he had all this planned out. They found a blue notebook as well in the upstairs section of the home, containing a handwritten script about an act of pow-powing. Officers requested the Anaheim County Police bomb squad during the investigation to remove the suspected explosive device from the home, but it was later confirmed that by the police that there was no explosive device present in the house. Police reported that he had been living with a boyfriend at home, but the man was not found when the officers arrived. They're also saying that there's no evidence of foul play, the police chief said, in regards to the boyfriend that this dude had. They said that he and his department believe that the incident was not racially motivated, but brought on through a combination of Harris's alleged use of methamphetamines. I don't even think I can say that word here. Paraphernalia, and his mental state at the time of incident. So again, it was not racially motivated. Just for those of you in the back, it was not. I don't care what y'all think. I don't care what you know. I don't care what you know from your life experiences and the fact that we've seen these things happen multiple times in Black churches. It was not racially motivated. That's what they say. Oh, hold on. It was actually 2 poll questions I had here. Y'all know I'm rusty. It takes a while to get used to it. Oh, I ain't never in that poll. Thank you to the 95% of you who have hit that like button. The other 5% of you, I know your hands might be busy. You're driving, washing dishes, changing the baby diapers, etc. But when you get time, please remember to hit that like button. It's greatly appreciated in advance. Thank you. Back to the story. So it was not racially motivated. This is all in y'all head. I wish y'all would stop making this a race issue. These are not race issues. Racism is dead. Racism went away with slavery. I don't know why y'all make this stuff up. Y'all bored. Why y'all so bored? Florida is a perfect place and a safe haven for African Americans. It is not racially motivated, these laws that they're passing and changing the education system to eradicate the knowledge of enslavement of African Americans. It is not racially motivated. Anyway, back to the story. They said, how serious was it to the police department? I think this is the interview with wait, I jumped down too far. And there was no evidence of foul play. So when they say that, they don't mean the Black people in the church, because that was clearly evidence of foul play or attempt of foul play. But they're saying as far as the boyfriend, that the boyfriend is, I guess, he's a meth head. He out in the street. They know he okay, I guess. So they're saying that DeLucia told the news that he and his department believe the incident was, we read this, was not, because I have to emphasize this, not racially motivated, but brought on through a combination of his methamphetamine use and he just mental health. That's all. These are isolated situations of people just with mental health. This ain't racism. It's not. It doesn't exist anymore. How serious was it? So I guess there was a question. I don't know this. This is the pastor asking, how serious was it to the local police department? And he's saying that they never said one word to us, even when we got out of church, out of service. There's cars all over the place out there, police cars, bomb squad, and no one said anything to us. That's because it's not racism. It's not. This is not race related. This is an isolated. I mean, this often happens where you have a crackhead who has a mental episode, and the police, call out an army of squad cars and bomb squads and tactical units. This is normal. Why is this even a news article? Why are we making a big deal out of it? Why are y'all making a big deal out of this? Of course, they didn't need to talk to the congregants to say they're safe. Of course they're safe. There's no racial issues out here in America. What? So they said the church was informed after Harris was arrested that there were no prank calls or prior acts that confirmed Harris was going to commit an act of violence. Because there was no proof or no phone calls saying, hey, yeah, he was coming to get y'all. That means nothing. This was innocent. He was just happened to have his gun on him and he was coming to the church for prayer with his firearm. So he wasn't coming in there to, he had planned to barricade himself in his home and stuff, but this is all coincidence. It had nothing to do with, going to shoot up another black church. It had nothing to do with it. That's not a thing. That's not a thing that they do. They said once he became lucid, police said Harris made no indication that he was going to commit a violent hate crime against anyone. What the heck is going on, y'all? This is an alter. I feel like I'm the only one who took the red pill around here. What is going on? What is this? Are they serious? Because they say it's not true, that means it's not. Don't believe our eyes and our ears. You got to be effing kidding. Harris faces nearly 10 charges, including attempted burglary, aggravated assault, and terrorist threats. Harris' bond was set for $975,000, and a preliminary hearing is set for September 5th. Lord, I believe had God forbid he actually was able to let some rounds off in that church and take some, thank God it just didn't happen. But if something had to happen, I believe that they would have said, it was a slip of his finger. He really was there for prayer, and maybe they have a conceal and carry, state or whatever. I don't know if they do, but it was all an accident. It was a happenstance. Oh, I never pulled a video in. Let me pull the video in. Y'all can listen to this for yourself. Just in case you think I made all this up. Now the computer taking its time to pull up the files. I just cannot. What? It's not racially motivated. He goes to an all-black church. He's all geared up, then set up his house to do a standoff with the police, and they like, no, but this ain't, none of this is, it's not racially motivated or anything. Where the hell did my stuff go? Okay, hold on, y'all. This is crazy. Why even say that? Why?
We begin this afternoon with answers after a very scary moment for a local community.
A Beaver County man remains behind bars after police say he was walking along a street in Ambridge on Sunday, pointing a gun at people and trying to get into a church. Ross Gadati spoke to police about the incident.
We are learning more about what allegedly happened here in Ambridge on Sunday. We are also learning what police say the incident wasn't. The incident began with a call to Ambridge police around 9 a.m. Sunday. The caller stating,
there was a white male, camo vest, red ball cap, and a white T-shirt walking with a possible long gun down Duss Avenue.
Police say the man carrying what turned out to be a shotgun was 38-year-old Jeffrey Harris. Not long after, another call came in. That caller telling police Harris was now
either trying to pull on the door to go into the church, the Greater Dominion Church, and when they went to that area, he was gone.
Harris, who police say was high on suspected methamphetamine and dealing with mental health issues, was found a short distance away, disarmed, and then taken into custody. Police then descended on Harris's Duss Avenue home.
They find out that the steps going up to the residence had some type of lubrication on them.
Inside the dwelling, police would find what they thought was a bomb, but proved nothing of concern later on, as well as a blue notebook.
This notebook that was found basically had some scribble on it that was very hard to even understand.
While the notebook mentioned something regarding active shooters, the chief wants to make clear.
We found nothing in the evidence as of now to alarm our community to think that this was racially motivated or crimes against our churches.
There were also reports of
against our churches or crime. This was racial community. Nothing.
Chief wants to make clear.
We found nothing in the evidence as of now to alarm our community to think that this was racially motivated. In the evidence,
Clear.
we found nothing in the evidence as of now to alarm our community to think that this was racially motivated or crimes against our churches.
There were also reports of a man described as Harris's boyfriend missing or not being around over the last few days. Police say they're not sure who this person is, but they told KDKA.
There was no evidence of foul play.
Harris right now in the Beaver County Jail facing a litany of felony charges. He's being held on bond in Ambridge.
I'm done with this story. Let me see if y'all got some. Hey, y'all, I only got one comment here. I'm so. Why didn't he go to a white church? It's the gaslighting for me. It's the gaslighting for me. No need to be concerned. It ain't like we haven't seen this before. This is one that got interjected. This plan got foiled for whatever. He was on crack as well, so his mind wasn't. So if he was more lucid, the fact that he couldn't get in the door originally and all that, he probably would have found a way to get in the church. And it was all of that that probably helped the situation for the better. The fact that he was actually on drugs. But the drugs ain't what caused him to do that. This is why I be taking time off, y'all. It's too much. And that comment I put up there was for a reason. I'm gonna leave it at that. Y'all know I be trying not to. Ooh, Jesus. Y'all better get ready though. Stay ready. Not get ready. Stay ready. It ain't no joke out here. All right, moving on to the next story. Speaking of use of narcotics, we have Tina Turner's son, Ike Jr., who was recently released from jail after serving 79 days for let me end this poll. I forgot to end this one. Do you agree that the situation had nothing to do with race? 91% of you said no. 8% of you, I'm interested in hearing your perspective on it. Please put it in the chat so I can see it later. What would make you say that you do not? I'm always interested in the outliers.
Y'all are so weird.
I hate
What does that mean?
I hate it.
They're so
them.
weird.
I hate them, bro. I swear to God, bro. I hate them, bro. Them is weird.
So do you know, did you know rather, that Tina Turner's son, Ike Jr., was in jail? I think I remember seeing this in headlines, but I don't know, kept it moving. So I didn't save it in my brain. But anyway, they are saying that in a turn of events, Tina Turner's. Oh, also, do y'all know because they're saying he was in jail 79 days. I didn't have the time to like do the calculations. Does that mean he was in jail when his mom passed away? Because she passed away not that long ago. Does that mean he was in jail when she passed away and the funeral and all that? Let me know if y'all know or do the math, because I can't remember when she passed away exactly. But when I read that, I was like, wait a minute, does that mean he missed his mom's funeral because of? And I don't know if they even had a relationship. Kim is saying, is that her biological son or stepson? That I'm not sure of that, because they did have multiple children. I actually have the photos of their boys, and I do know that all of them weren't biologically hers. Okay, Kim K2 Shy is saying that Ike Jr. is her biological son. So, well, but Darlene P is saying that's her stepson. So I don't know. Y'all Google it, y'all, and get it clear and let me know. So anyway, they're saying that he found himself in legal hot water a few months ago on May the 6th. Because I feel like didn't she die in May? Wait, did she die in June? May or June, right? She passed on May 24th. Okay, so this must mean he was in jail, because he's been in there 79 days and he was arrested on May 6th. So anyway, it says he was arrested by an Alvin Police Department in Texas. The arrest followed a routine traffic stop for an equipment violation, specifically a broken headlight or tail light on his white 2013 Ford Fusion. And I'm like, obviously his mom ain't been supporting him. I mean, I ain't blaming, because ain't no telling what all the ins and outs of whatever they went through and what his life turned into, because I haven't followed them like that. But I'm like, you're driving a 2013 Ford Fusion and your mom was a multimillionaire living on an estate in Zurich across the world. Anyway, however, things quickly escalated as officers discovered something much more serious. During the traffic stop, the officers observed Ike Jr. attempting to consume a substance in which seemed to be a desperate attempt to hide illegal drugs. As the situation unfolded, law enforcement seized a significant amount of drugs. They say 1.7 grams of crack and 7 grams of methamphetamines. They said following his arrest, Ike Jr. was charged with cocaine possession and tampering with evidence. These charges carried serious implications, and his legal journey began. His passenger, a female passenger he had, was also charged with possession of a controlled substance and methamphetamines. The legal process took its course, and Ike Jr. spent a significant amount of time behind bars while awaiting his trial. Interestingly, Ike Jr.'s arrest happened a few weeks before I hadn't read this yet, y'all. This answered our question, or my question. A few weeks before the unfortunate passing of his iconic mother, Tina Turner. And she passed away on May 24th in her home in Switzerland at the age of 83 after battling a long illness that came to end. And they are saying after spending a total of 79 days behind bars, there's finally some positive news for Ike. According to exclusive reports, he was released on July 24th. The time served was in connection to the drug charge, and notably the tampering with evidence charge was dropped. While this chapter of his life is coming to a close, the future remains uncertain for Ike. Well, we kind of know if this is an ongoing issue that we may be hearing more about these sort of stories, unfortunately, until he's ready to fully change his life. It's interesting, though. I'm very interested in the dynamics of all of that. Like, was he in communication with his mom? Was he, all of that? Sugar Spice says, Switzerland, he wouldn't have made it. You're right. I'm sure. Sure of it. All right. Did you know that Tina Turner's son was in jail? 85% of you did not even know that. Interesting. Yeah, I think I remember hearing when he got arrested. Just again, I get so much information that a lot of stuff I just purge out of my memory for the sake of my sanity. Let's see. Do we have any comments? Got one? Do we? Those routine, right, Don. Those routine traffic stops get you every time. Exactly. Yeah, her youngest son, Ronnie Turner, died December 8th of 2022, and Craig Turner died in 2018. Yeah. Yeah, she had two sons that died prior to her passing. And Darlene saying his driving a Ford Fusion. What does that say? Wait, I don't know if you're saying, I don't know if you're questioning why would I say that, or if you're saying, I don't know what, I don't know context with that. But the reason I'm saying that, if that's what you're asking, is that if his mom is a multi-millionaire, like hundreds of millions, obviously she wasn't taking care of him. Obviously he wasn't living the privileged life for many reasons. But the car would be a representation of that. Nothing wrong with a Ford Fusion for many of us. I actually almost bought one years ago when they first came out. So that's not a judgment. But if I had the choice of buying a Ford Fusion or a S-Class Benz, or, you know, X7 BMW truck or something like that, that would be what I'd be leaning towards if I had unlimited resources like that. That's where I was going with that. Okay, so I guess that's about all on the comments there. Moving on to our next story. All right, but we're gonna be out of here real quick. y'all ain't giving me no. I ain't got no star comments. I'm like, okay, let's keep it moving. We have Amazon CEO Andy Jassy. His brutal message to his remote workers who are refusing to come back to the office. I haven't read this article, but I found it interesting, just the headline alone, because I have been seeing these sort of topics coming up more and more as we've slowly gotten away from the pandemic. However, we are approaching another one. If you've been paying attention to the news, that just reminds me too. Hold on, let me whole question I want to add in there after this one. But my spelling is all off like all day. Okay, we'll put that there for now. Okay, so they're saying Amazon CEO Andy Jassy seems to have run out of patience with remote workers refusing to come back to the office. The return to office issue has been a problem plaguing some of the biggest businesses in America and the small ones, with companies from Meta to Meta is Facebook, Instagram. For those of you who don't know, they run them. Disney and Starbucks all wrestling with workers who want to hold on to their pandemic era flexibility. It got addictive. Look at what I did. I quit my corporate job, even though they weren't asking for us to come back, but I was like, oh, I like this, doing what I want to do when I want to do it. Anyway, unfortunately for Amazon executives, summoning staff back to the office has been particularly controversial. And they said, and after being hit with everything from criticism to staff petitions, it seems that Amazon boss has reached the end of his rope. Said in a fishbowl meeting earlier this month, a company named for its fireside chat, Jassy reportedly threw down the gauntlet, implying that if staff refused to come back to their desk, they would not have a spot on the payroll. He was quoted as saying, "It's past the time to disagree and commit," he said in a recording retained by the Insider. And he said, "And if you can't disagree and commit, I also understand that, but it's probably not going to work out for you at Amazon because we are going back to the office at least 3 days a week. And it's not right for all of our teammates to be in 3 days a week and for people to refuse to do so. Says the Amazon staff could be forgiven for their reluctance to return to the office. In September of 2022, Jassy told the staff he had no plans to ask them to return to their desk. Obviously, his mind has changed. Maybe he like, I'm tired of coming up in here and they ain't got to come up here. You know, usually it's out of jealousy. Those people who like actually go to the office or have to, or they like, I already got to take my kid to the daycare and that's 5 minutes from the job. I'm like, forget it. I might as well go in. I didn't got dressed and all that. They mad at you because you ain't got that issue. Because you can just roll out of bed and grab your laptop. And they ain't even got to roll out of bed. Just grab your laptop and start working. Haters. Got some haters. Let me stop. Anyway, it came after a similarly relaxed message in October the year prior when Jassy said the managers would be allowed to decide how often they wanted their teams back in the building. However, February of 2023, less than 6 months after he said he had no plans to force the workers back, Amazon staffers were told they'd need to be back in the office the majority of the week. He reportedly reiterated the rhetoric that has emerged in more recent months. Don't comply with return to the office and face consequences. So, yeah, the article is way longer, but it's interesting. Let's see what we got going on here. In the poll, do you work remotely from home? And 43% of you say yes, 57% of you do not. And some people prefer not to be at home. It depends. Some people prefer it. Some people, so some of y'all working from, are going into the office and y'all prefer it. Y'all need it. Y'all don't function at home by yourself well, et cetera, et cetera. And then some of y'all are being forced to go in and y'all hate us for those of us who don't have to. But no, I get it from either side. But do you agree with the CEO? Do you believe that he is right? Do you believe that people should be getting their tails back to the office? Alice says Andy needs to get a grip. In the sense of thinking he's going to be able to force everyone to return back to work. I mean, if he does that, he's definitely going to lose staff. There are some people who have now started second businesses. I know how this works. They like, well, I ain't going to be able to return back to you because I'm making the same amount on my side business I was able to start from working at home as I make here. And if I have more time to dedicate to that, I'm going to make even more. So maybe this is time, like a sign I need to just leave. So he will lose people for sure. Whether or not they feel like they're losing valuable people, that's, up for debate. Addicted to Love says, I work from home and have to go in 2 days a month. Wow, that's good. I cringe when those days come around. I mean, that's not horrible, but I get what you're saying. Like once you get accustomed to your routine and your phone, as long as you're getting the work done and all of that, I'm like, have at it. Have at it. That's how I was with my team because we went remote during the pandemic. I mean, I had field team anyway, so all my staff was never in the office all the time. It was only a handful of us who were in the office somewhat daily. And I was already taking remote days even prior to the pandemic. I would work at home at least 1 or 2 days out of the week, depending on my mood, depending on meetings and all of that. So it wasn't as much of an adjustment, but I was okay with it. I was just learning how to manage my team from afar, but I honestly just didn't have a big issue with them not being in office. Don is saying, yes, a lot of companies want workers back in the office. Thank God our office closed permanently, so we're all working from home. That's what my former company, the year prior in 2018, 2019, we were growing so quickly and so big that we were running out of space at literally every site. We have 5 or 6 sites, something like that. And they were running out of space. And so they kept leasing new spaces and renovating. They were actually in the middle of starting like a deal with a new property to renovate that, do the build out for more space. And the pandemic happened. And the next thing you know, they were like, wait a minute. We could just have more people working from home versus renting all these spaces and all overhead that comes with that. And so they started leaning towards that. And to my knowledge, they're still not all back in office. Like for the most part, and I'll drive by those sites every once in a while, they still working remotely. Those parking lots be empty during the middle of the day. So some companies realized that there was a cost savings to having people work remotely as well. Right. I have my own business, praise him. You and me both. There's pros and cons to that too, though. But God is good. Like they can't find another job if you're not customer or client facing. There's no need to be in the office more than 1 to 2 times a week. Yeah, I'm kind of I lean more in that direction as well. Again, even just the overhead for the companies, you're not using as much utilities and they don't need to lease as many spaces. Some of these companies, well, like Amazon, of course, they already have their spaces, but there's still savings to that as well. That's so old school thinking. Allow the ones who want to return to work to do so. Right. I think I agree with that. I think if there's performance issues with people who are working remotely and, as a part of your maybe offboarding, either we're going to grow, you're going to grow or leave, then I agree with maybe forcing those people to come in and like saying, hey, well, you're not producing. And so we need you to come in so we can, close those gaps. And if that doesn't happen, then we just release you. But yeah, I think if the work is getting done, then fine. And then, if your staff is also interacting and all of that as well, because sometimes people need to be getting work done, but the communication is bad. And so they're getting their work done, but other people can't get theirs done because there's a lack of communication. I get multiple sides of it, but if it's working, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Is how I look at it. 27% of you agree with the Amazon CEO. 73% of you don't agree. I expected it to be closer to half, but that's interesting. My other question, though, is that on the heels of this, I don't know how many of you seen it. I was going to post it on Facebook and on my social media platforms, but there's starting to be more warnings about the increase of the new strand of I guess I can say the word COVID, and that the rates are going up of people contracting it and being hospitalized, et cetera. So with that being known, they're starting to recommend us to start wearing our mask again. With that being said, are you considering that? So that was something when I ran across this, that crossed my mind too. Like with hearing that we're on the heels of, the rates skyrocketing, so much so that they're saying people start putting your mask on again. We highly recommend it. Do you really want to be forcing people to go back into an office environment and finagle together with germs? I would think not. I would think that let's just be more cautious because we learned what happened the first time. Like, let's learn from our mistakes is how I look at it. These companies need to adjust. One size fits all is not working anymore. Excuse me, pun. Yep, I agree. I think you need to rethink your life if you'd rather be on a job than in your home. You'd rather be on the job than in your home. I don't 100% agree with that. Some people find purpose outside of the home. Some people, like myself, I am a homebody. I'm a person who likes solitude and all of that. I get pleasure out of being in the house. I love it. That was La Belnito. Oh, I love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. I will refuse an invitation and be antisocial in a hot second and love it and be okay with it and have no feels about it. Sometimes I like to socialize too. Not often, but every once in a while, I'm good with that. I like interaction, human interaction. I'm okay with it. But for the most part, I am good with me and my environment. The world is a little overstimulating for me. So there are people who are like me and can thrive like that. But there are other people who need that, outside environment, and they need the process of getting up, going, to work, and the traffic and all of that stuff feeds them and fuels their soul. So it's not a one size fits all. It's basically, I forgot who just said that. And that applies to us as individuals. So just because I love my house and love being in the house, I know that there are people who this would depress the F out of them, my life, my work life, and my, you know, so to each his own. I don't judge those people. Don't judge me either. He must be the bestie with Elon Musk because he is the one stressing people need to go back in. Yeah. And Elon Musk over there messing up Twitter, calling it X. I ain't calling it X, it's Twitter. It was, and I just got into Twitter, and then you want to change it all up. The hell? He needs to get with the times. Happy employees are an asset to the bit. Absolutely. Right. And again, like I said, some people thrive being at home. Some people thrive with the fact that you do gain. Even me, when we went remote, one of the things that I noticed the immediate change was, although my site, my office was only 14 minutes from my house, I can do it in 11 or 12 minutes with zero traffic. So it's very close to my house. It was just no big deal to go into the office. And I had my own office space and everything. So I could shut the door on people and all that. So again, being a person who is okay with solitude, it was perfect. I loved my office environment. But when we went 100% remote for the pandemic and we were having meetings, what I noticed was how much of my time I got back, because I would have to travel multiple times a week to different sites that were like an hour away or an hour and 15, hour and 20 minutes away in traffic to go for day meetings and all of that. And when we went remote and that stuff was all done on the Zoom and stuff, man, my life, I was like, man, I got so much of my life back. Like a day like this, I would have not been getting home till 6 or almost 7 p.m. It's 3 or 4 and my day is done. You know, it was that I started to realize I was getting my life back. So, and then that starts to give you time if you have other interests or want to spend more time with your family or renovate your house or do DIY projects or just whatever, more reading, self-care, whatever, you start to have that time. So you got to look at the big picture of it. Right. As long as you're able to get the work done at home, there shouldn't be an issue. Yeah. I mean, that's how I feel. As I grow and build my team, that's going to be my approach. Been working from home for most part since 2012. So you've definitely, hey, CC, you've definitely been at it a long time. So it's routine for you. It would be probably quite an adjustment to change it. A poll question I'm ending is, are you going to start wearing your mask? 82% of you say yes. 18% of you say no. Probably looks about how it looked during the pandemic when people were like, I ain't wearing a mask. I can't breathe. I got medical issues. all those reasons. It's a conspiracy. There is no corona. It's all a lie. They just want to inject y'all with microchips so they can follow y'all. Yeah. I mean, to each his own with the mask thing. I get it. I was out the other day. Yes, I did leave out the house. I was out the other day. And I started seeing more people with masks. I didn't get out of my car. I went places where I didn't need to get out of my car. I can't even remember what I did. But I went places where I didn't necessarily need to get out of my car. But I did notice I started to see more people with masks on. So the winning walk with Christina is saying, I never stopped. Yeah, there are some people who I noticed didn't stop. I wore my mask way into when they were saying you don't have to anymore, basically. But I eventually got more comfortable with it out having it. And so now it's an adjustment. And I keep them still in my car. I got extras in my car, but I always keep a couple hanging on the turn signal lever. And so I just need to now start remembering when I get out of the car to put it on again. But I am going to start wearing mine again for sure. Plus, I kind of like to be incognito. That's the other part about it. I was like, that wasn't bad for me. You just didn't, who was who. I like that. I know y'all see me on here and y'all don't realize how antisocial I really am. And as I get older, it's I don't know if it's gotten worse or it's just increased. I don't know how to define it. I don't know if it's necessarily bad or good or indifferent. Let's see. Oh, next story. Oh, wait. Yeah, I did all the comments. Next story. We have Jennifer Williams, and I'm interested. How many of you actually know who Jennifer Williams is? Do you even know who this woman is before I get too deep into the story? But what I will say is, wait a minute, I pulled in that clip? Hold on. Because of the fact I forgot to pull in all my video clips, I don't know if I missed, it won't matter at this point, but I don't know if I missed something. Let me see. Let me open it in this window. Bear with me. Don't judge me. Y'all know I ain't been on here in a minute. It's like, I would say it's like learning how to ride a bike, but it's not because I forget. Okay, no, all the rest of them were clips from her, so that's good. Okay, so Jennifer Williams. Okay, 80% of you do know who, well, 70, close to 80% of you know who she is. So she is a reality star from the Basketball Wives franchise, LA, if I'm not mistaken. That's basically where she's most notably known from. And she was married to a NBA player who was not very attractive at all. He reminds you of Sheree's Bob Whitfield. For those of you who watch Real Housewives of Atlanta and know Sheree's ex-husband Bob Whitfield, how he's like kind of hideous looking. This guy looked like that. It was like, ooh, girl, we know you married him just for the money. you can't deny it at that point when they look like that. Oh, and I forgot about that part. Put your comment up, Precious. I forgot because it was just, ooh, I wish I had a thought to pull him up. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to troll people's looks. Not today, at least. So anyway, she is now engaged to her, what was her boyfriend, but it's now her fiance. Right. Her ex-husband had a big old knot on his forehead. And I didn't follow it. I watched the show a little bit. I had an ex who loved the show, so I would watch it a little bit here or there. But his name was Eric. Thank you, K Sharp, is saying, Bill, don't do Eric like that. I ain't doing nothing. It's the truth. I mean, he's not that attractive, and he did have a knot on his head. I just said two facts. I mean, to each his own, but I'm just going to say, I don't think she fell in love with him for love. She might have loved him eventually, but I just can't see it. I cannot see it. Hold on. I got to pull this up because some of y'all don't know who we talk about. Hold on. This is at the end of our show. Kitchen Tape Talk. Jennifer Williams' ex-husband. I don't want to know his net worth. I just want to. How much is he worth, though, if it's going to bring it up? Oh, they saying he worth $25 million. Oh, here he is. Here he is. Okay, maybe he wasn't as hideous. Maybe I'll take that back. Hold on, y'all. Open a new tab. Okay, let me share this. So this is her ex-husband. That's the ex-husband. So that's what we're talking about. But I don't know if that knot was like a medical thing or something some injury he got in sports or whatever. They're saying though, you know, you got to take these when they say celebrity net worth and stuff, when you Google it, you got to take it at, you know, with a grain of salt, but they're saying he's worth $25 million. So possibly. But anyway, that was her ex-husband. But what you see there now is her current husband. However, I'm sorry, not her current husband, her current fiance, who she just recently got engaged to. They've been posting all over social media. Let me pull up her walking with him.
Came to see my family.
Yeah, baby.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Whoop, whoop. Came.
So she's out and about with her new fiance, showing off her engagement ring. I will say, I had an issue with her in the very beginning. Like when she was dating Tim, I didn't believe that she loved him or liked him like that. I just believed in my feelings at that time was that she was being like a gold digger. And Tim didn't really have what even she thought or none of us thought that he had. We found this out during the trial. We will be doing the transcripts. Looks like next week we're going to start the transcripts. I still got to do a lot of behind the scenes stuff, but just so y'all know, transcript reading, the goal is for it to roll out next week. But anyway, what we learned through the court is that Tim was robbing Peter to pay Paul and was in massive debt and just hadn't it, whatever. So I felt like she was with him for that. Like she wasn't really into Tim. Because she has a history of dating men who aren't that attractive, who happen to have a bag. This guy is very attractive. And but from the little, I don't know much about him. If any of you know anything about him, please put it in the chat, because I will be doing a deep dive on her and Tim and their relationship. I'm gonna do a couple little overview things real quick for us here, but I'm going way deeper because there's so much more to it. But let me know if you know anything about this dude. But anyway, she's with him and supposedly he has some money too. I don't think it's millions. He might have hit 8 million or the high 100,000s. But yeah, A-Hill. I'm saying A-Hill is saying Tim seemed like a PR move. Yeah. And so I'm gonna quickly talk about her in the current, and then we're gonna get into what we care about, which is her and Tim. That's what a real Jew said. So her fiance, I'll just call him the fiance because that's what he is now. They've been on my radar a little bit because they actually have a YouTube channel as well. And let me see. There's a little intro video that I have here too. Here it is.
Seeing a lot of
so this is both of them. They have a YouTube channel. Somehow it came up. I think it came up in my suggested views on YouTube. And so they do it. This is a video. This is a clip of it, but it's a longer, I think it's like a 40-minute or hour video where they talk about how they met and blah, blah, blah. So this is a clip down version of that. And he was formerly incarcerated, that I do know. But supposedly he's a successful investor. That's all. That's all I saw online. Successful investor. Investor of what? I don't know. Deborah is saying, how old is he? He's younger. I heard his age. I don't know it off the top of my head. He's definitely younger than her, though. And his voice is extremely raspy and he talks loud. So it's a little hard for me. I'll let you come to your own conclusions.
Comments about, well, how did you guys meet? So we're about to talk about how we met. I'm like on a first leave.
You did? I remember the outfit. I mean, top to bottom. She was so
laser eyes for one person.
So I walk around the corner and I turn and I see this beautiful woman.
And so we hugged each other.
We hugged each other, but it wasn't a church hug.
It
was not a church. You know how you go to church and like you know, I hit my boy up like, bro, I know that you saw what I saw. I know, like, did you see a connection?
I text Armani and I was like, hey, what's up with light skin? And she's like, oh my God, this sounds great. Like, he sounds like a great guy. How old is he? And I was like, oh shit, I don't know.
So yeah, that's like I said, that's a much longer video. So if you're interested, I think it's called Life with Jen and CJ or something or other. They online. Find them on YouTube. Type in her name, it'll probably come up. But I'm so silly. I put the poll questions. Does his voice hurt your ears too? I don't know why when I was originally listening to them, watching the video. Had nothing to do. Again, I saw this like maybe a month or 3 months ago. It was like it was like every time he talked, I'd be like, it's something like nails on a chalkboard or something. And he talks loud at the same time. Alice is saying, Lord, it looks like she has poor taste in men. Yeah, I don't know. Again, I don't know anything about the guy except for the fact that they, have disclosed that and in that video, they vaguely mention it, if I'm not mistaken. Actually, it's two of them. It's this one here that I have the thumbnail of, the picture of, and then it's the one I just showed y'all. It was two different. So this one here was the video where I think he talked a little bit about his past. I don't even think I got through the whole video because, again, his voice, it hurts my ears. It really does. So we'll see what happens with that. But for the rest of you, as we move on to more about her, because I was like, oh, this is perfect timing, because I was already planning to do, I've been slowly working on behind the scenes, a deep dive video about her relationship with Tim. And because she had done an interview months ago, actually way back last year sometime, I think it had to be last year. No, it was earlier this year. She did an interview on the Carlos King's podcast, and the subject of Tim Norman came up, and she let it loose. And so that kind of caused her to be on my radar to say, I need to do a deep dive on that. So it's still coming because we're doing an overview tonight. So did you know that she dated Tim Norman? 12% of you did not know. 88% of you, it's going up a little bit, but over 86% of you saying that you did know. Most of y'all watch Sweetie Pies over here, so not surprised. So anyway, I have a clip here of when she was dating Tim, actively dating Tim, and what she had to say about him at that time.
About just being in a great space in your life, and I'm wondering, does that have anything to do with Tim? Are you guys still together? How's that going?
Yes, no, I am in a good space. Tim and I are definitely still together. He's been spending a lot of time in Houston because he just opened up a restaurant down there, and he's filming his show, Welcome to Sweetie Pies. So I've been back and forth between LA and Houston, and I'll be on his show a little bit too, so you can catch me there on OWN. But yeah, it's good. I can't believe it's been a year since we've been together. I know, I'm like, time just completely flies by. And I'm not saying it's all like, rainbows and cherries and all that good stuff. We've definitely had some up and downs, but it's like, it's good, and he definitely puts a smile on my face.
Is he the one? Are you going to be walking down the aisle with Tim, wedding bell?
I mean, if he puts a ring on it, we'll see, I don't know. We'll see what happens. But yeah, no, he's a great guy, and I can definitely see myself with him for the rest of my life.
So that was her during their dating, where she was saying that, she could see herself marrying Tim Norman. And although things weren't perfect, she was leaving out a whole lot when she said that. But although things weren't perfect, she could see herself marrying him and spend the rest of her life with him. And at that time, that's when he was wasting Miss Robbie's money, opening up all these restaurants, rapid fire across America. And he happened to be working on that one in Houston. And this ended up on the show, like what she's talking about, how she said she would be visiting back and forth, and ended up, on the show a little bit. All of that did happen. So we know that that was real life happening right there. However, we now know, fast forwarding, that it did not end well. Tim ended up, when their relationship ended, there's accusations going both ways, but one of the things that's being said is that Tim disclosed to her that he cheated on her. I don't know how true. She must have found out, because he ain't never gonna tell the truth. We learned that. But anyway, he cheated on her. She found out about it. She broke up with him or something or whatever. And then Tim eventually filed a restraining order against Jennifer, claiming that she was stalking him in LA. we all pretty much knew that something was wrong with that in the first place. Like her stalking you. Nah. Like, because one of my things was, oh, she must have dumped him because she realized he wasn't really as paid, or didn't have as much money as she originally thought he did. And so yeah. So he said that one of his accusations at that time was also that he saw Jennifer tailing him and later found his tires slashed after parking at home. So he's claiming that she was following him around, and when she got, he got home, she had slashed his tire. Well, he got home and came back out, and she had slashed his tires. Jennifer, at that time, she had denied the allegations, and she posted on her Instagram that she hadn't seen him in months. And an investigative report indicated at the time that Jennifer was the victim, and Norman was the victim in that dating relationship. And then Tim had countered, stating that on the date that the report, after his restraining order was granted, he claimed that she claimed she ended up filing so he filed a restraining order on her first. That's what sociopaths do. They play the victim, and he's like, oh, in order for me to play the victim for real, I need to run and file a restraining order and make up all these things about her. Then she ended up filing a restraining order against him as well, but he was making all of these accusations against her that she was basically saying, basically, you keep on testing me, I'm going to start like exposing for real. And so one of the things that she started tweeting and putting out stuff on her Instagram and putting receipts out left and right. We're not getting into all those, but it's a ton of them. And so text messages and all that. So one of the things she put out there at that time was, this is just one example of the jealousy and insecurity, hence why I'm in fear. I pray to God he gets help and leaves me alone. These messages are right before our breakup. So she ended up sharing at that time messages between text messages and crazy stuff that Tim was sending her. And then this was one of the other messages she put out there on, I think this is Instagram. She says, I'm dealing with a real life psycho that I have not seen in 3 months. I don't know if he's trying to boost ratings for his show or what his agenda is. It was to boost ratings for his show, I'm sure. Imagine me slashing tires. Imagine Tim moving quickly. So she's like, I guess one of his claims is like he was running from her. She's like, imagine him moving quickly. Like, what? Herein lies the lie. She said, please leave me alone and stop fabricating lies. And then somebody responded to her, oh, wow, it's very salty. Okay, I ain't gonna read that's cursing involved. Then another person says, Jen slashing tires. Jen, have you ever been near tires? To do what? Boy, bye. And then they responded also, another person, people do anything just to get fame off other people. It's just pathetic. And to go so low as to be, it's something got cut off. But anyway, so that was way back when. You fast forward to a few months ago, she does an interview on the Carlos King podcast, and he specifically brings up Tim Norman and her experience with Tim Norman and the fact that he met Tim as well. So let's take a, I ain't gonna play the whole interview, but I'm gonna play a piece of it.
You may have something bad to say about this next subject. So earlier we talked about the fact that I have met some of your boyfriends, and one of your exes that I did meet and have dinner with at Mr. Child was Tim Norman.
Not the murderer, honey.
Who we all.
That's my favorite part. I actually want to I tried to turn this into a sound bite for him, but then I was like, it's probably gonna get me in trouble with YouTube, but it's my favorite. One more time.
Tim Norman,
not the murderer, honey.
who we all know. Oh Lord Jesus, Jen. Lord. Jen, myself, and Tim Norman had dinner years ago at Mr. Chow in Beverly Hills because any guy that Jen dates, I have to meet them because she's like, Carlos, you have discernment, and I need to know this is a good person, and if not, let me know. But if he is there some business that we all can do to get, like me and Jen always about that bag and business, honey. Child. So the coins, honey. So I'm going to be very honest. When I met Tim, I thought he was nice. He seemed very sweet. He was somebody who was definitely into you. He was, I mean, he's from St. Louis, so he had that Midwestern sensibility. Guys, he pulled out her chair. He made sure she ordered first. He spoiled her right before my brown eyes, and I was like, damn, bitch, got a good one. But then...
And just so y'all know, and I'm going to interrupt this a little bit. Y'all watch his podcast. This is on his YouTube channel as well, Carlos King. So if you want to see the whole thing uninterrupted, do not be commenting under my videos talking about some interrupting because that's this commentary. But anyway, this is something you need to be aware of because this is what sociopaths and narcissists do. They charm you in the beginning. They love bomb you in the beginning. They only show you their best, which is usually an act, but they show you their best to reel you in. And as soon as they get you on the hook like a fish, they reel you in and sling you around and throw you against the wall and everything else mentally. So don't be fooled by people being nice in the beginning, etc. Sometimes people are just nice people, and that's what your experience is going to be, and it's going to be your experience with them forevermore, which is great. But when people are nice to you in the beginning, expect that and just keep waiting it out. This is why it's important not to rush into things with people, because narcissists, this is their grooming period in the very beginning. They're not going to show you who they truly are. They're going to groom you, love bomb you, make you fall for them, get emotionally invested, and then they start the abuse, which is what we ultimately saw with them and him trying to ruin her reputation and everything else.
Months later, I want to say, it was in the news that he was stalking you. It was a very bad breakup. Then we heard that he supposedly put a bid on his nephew to get murdered, and now he's in jail. Did all of this surprise you, Jen, when you learned that this man who you were once in love with is in jail for putting a plot to murder somebody?
So, I saw a side of him that was crazy. Hence, all like this court stuff. I never in a million years would have thought he would put a hit out on his nephew. Now, I had gone to St. Louis. He had walked me down the street where the nephew was killed. And his father got murdered like on the next street over or something like that, like years prior. And so he's like walking me down the street, telling me the story and this and that. And so when everything comes out, I'm like, wait a minute. This is crazy as hell, because I remember him taking me to this street where the nephew got murdered. So I tell people this.
So that's the crazy part. Now, we know that Tim did that as well with Miss Robbie for the cameras. Well, he did that. He took us all there. He literally took us all to the site where Andre's life was unfortunately taken, where his cousin's life was taken around the corner, where his father's life was taken down the street. Sociopath, y'all. Sociopath. Could you imagine? He had something to do with it. And then it's almost like when you look at the psychology of it, it's almost like a trophy he was showing off because he felt like he got away with it. So then he was taking people to the scene of where he got away with it. Like, that's how I'm looking at it. It was almost like a dog going to his vomit, so to speak. But he's excited about it. He's bragging without people really knowing what he's bragging about. Craziness. That's a psychopath. No remorse, because if you had remorse, you wouldn't be taking people back to the site. And multiple people. These are people we know about. We know he took Miss Robbie. We now know he took Jennifer because she's telling us. We also know that we went. He took us as an audience. Imagine how many other tens of people he also took that we don't know nothing about. Family members, cousins, friends, etc. Other dates. If he felt like it was a date to take people on, well, let me go show you where my family members got, unalived at, and also where I got my hired somebody to unalive my nephew, and I've been getting away with it for years at that point. Ooh, Jesus.
I definitely saw a crazy side of him, with him like stalking me, and he was very jealous. I don't know if I ever told you this story, but one time we were in Pink Taco in LA, and we were like sitting, it was kind of like a booth, right? And so he was sitting next to me, like he was here and I was here. But it was one of those booths that like extended, and then there was like another table, right? And so then there was like a TV to my right. And so I'm looking at the TV, and there were some guys at the table next to us. And I don't know, I guess the guy was looking, I have no idea. So he goes ape shit in Pink Taco. So the guy says something, and he's like, why do you keep looking, or something along those lines? And the guy's like, oh no, you guys look familiar or whatever. Next thing I know, he takes his forearm and literally like goes like this, and all the dishes, the glass, everything, like basically is about to flip the table. And he's like, I told you to stop looking over here, something. And I was like, what the heck? I was mortified. I could not, but first of all, we're out in a public restaurant, and it just wasn't warranted. I'm like, what the hell? What did I miss? So we get in the car. I'm super nervous. I'm like, what the hell? And so he's like, it's all your fault. You kept looking at him. And I was just like, what? So now I'm on my phone and I'm texting Mary, my best friend. I'm like, girl, I'm scared. Like, this is so crazy. You don't even know what happened to us in Pink Taco. She's like, do you want me to come over? And I was like, I don't know. I was like, I don't want to agitate it anymore. But I was really scared. I really was. And so he stayed in my house, and the next day he left and he went to the gym, and he started sending me all of these screenshots and articles about, I could not believe it, about body language. And he said I had my legs crossed towards the men.
See, that's how narcissists and sociopaths, right? Somebody, Robin L said, the gym. Like, what? When he started going to a gym. But now you think she lying because she said he went to the gym. But no, this is how narcissists work and sociopaths. Like, y'all, I want y'all to catch these sort of things. This is him then. Now he's wined and dined her basically up to that point. Now the light switch hits, the crazy trigger hits, and now he's showing her who he truly is. And he's not only trying to love bomb, now he's moved out of the love bomb range into the mental abuse, aka gaslighting. He's gaslighting her to make her be the problem because of his jealousy, because some guys saw two celebrities that they were looking at, and she's a very attractive woman, of course. And even if they were looking at her, that's not her fault that some men find her attractive. But he tried to turn it into her fault to the point of sending her, trying to prove his point by sending her articles on body language to say it's your fault that men were looking at you because of something you did with your body language. What kind of BS, psycho BS? Jesus. Thank God she got out of there safely.
Towards the men. And I was like, what the hell? I'm like, my legs are long as hell. I don't know which way they were crossed. And if they were crossed that way, it wasn't because I'm trying to get his, it was I swear, he sent me about 5 articles about body language and was basically saying that, I don't know, I was trying to entice the guy or something. And I was like, oh no, this dude is bad crazy.
Did he ever put his hands on you?
No. He never did.
So there's more to that interview. That segment, that part of the interview was probably maybe 20, 30 minutes. But there was more to that interview as a whole. So definitely go to Carlos King's YouTube channel. I'll try to remember to put the link below. I'll try to remember. But go to his YouTube channel and you can see that entire interview. She talks about basketball wives and all this stuff. And it was a good interview. I watched the whole thing months ago. I watched the whole thing. But that part was good because the sweetie pies are related. Y'all know, can't get enough. Okay, so let me get to so anyway, that we know, what came of it all. And at that time, a lot of people were not believing her. They thought that she was the problem. I wasn't 100%. I knew it was more to it. So I wasn't like just riding for Tim or anything, but I just wasn't sure how to see it. I didn't know if she was trying to set him up, if this was like some way to try to sue him later for money. Like, I just didn't know. Because again, there's an image that she has, whether it's deserved or not. It's just the image that she has of being, of the gold digging persuasion. Poll questions. Have you seen the Carlos King interview with Jennifer? 91% of you had not seen this interview. I did not expect it to be that high. 8% of you had seen it. So I'm glad I decided to show it. And the other poll question is, do you think that Jennifer was ever in love with Tim? 82% of you said, hell no. Go plant in our face. 17% of you said, no, that was true love. Look at how he is adorningly hugging her, mean mugging the camera. Like, don't y'all be looking at my woman. Psycho. Oh, he a psycho. And then the other one is, do you believe Jennifer's story of how jealous Tim was and his acting out? 76% of you said yes. 23% of you say no. I'm interested in the 23% of you. Why would you say you don't believe her? Now, what I didn't, again, because I can go so deep. I am going to go so deep with this whole thing. It's so much more. Like, she gave us pieces. So much more. But she actually has the text messages that she was just talking about in that interview when she was texting in real time, in real life with her friend saying, girl, I am this fool that's scaring me, this just happened. In real time, she has the text messages and her friend offering like, girl, do you want me to come over? Blah, blah, blah. And she was like, no, I'm just going to lay down and Like, thank God it just didn't become anything more. He had never, like she said, he was never physically abusive to her. So I guess she didn't fear him physically. Thank God. But yeah, so there is proof of this story because from way back then, where she has the literal text messages from when the incident went down and she was texting her friend like, girl, I don't know what's happening here. He's switching up on me. But yeah, we know that Jennifer got dragged in social media. I had one here. She was saying, this is a tweet she had out. Why drag someone to court over something you know is not true? Let's start there. You've been living under a rock. So this is Jennifer going back and forth with people who were harassing her on social media. She says, I'm really trying to remain quiet. People need to leave me alone. I got way too much ammo to fire off. What she meant was all this proof, all these receipts and text messages she had of his psychopathic behavior. Again, this is before anybody suspected anything, well, besides the FBI, but before anybody suspected anything with Tim related to, the conspiracy to unalive Andre and any of all the stuff we later learned about him. Nobody knew this in the public. And so people were just jumping to this defense. Something else I see on social media that's starting to really grieve my soul is how people just go off of the appearance of somebody. And just because someone has a lot of followers and they appear to be rich, or wealthy or something, that automatically it makes them a good person, and it makes anyone who speaks out about them a hater or a bad person. This is just like the psychosis of it all. Bad people can have money. Bad people can be entertaining. Like, what the hell? We just saw it. Look at Tim. Tim gave us all of that back then. We knew he was crazy, but we didn't know he was that crazy. We didn't know he was a sociopath. We just like, oh, Tim got issues. This person attacking Jennifer back then is saying, no, you are too old to be bashing Tim on social media. If it didn't work out for whatever reason, it didn't. We know you make more money than him. Why drag someone on social media that you once cared for? It's not necessary. So she's the problem, not the sociopath who's creating drama with her as she's trying to move on, as she has now done. But as she was trying to move on with her life, it ain't his fault for making this all happen. I should have had the mugshot. I didn't have time to pull it. But it ain't his fault. It's her fault because she's responding and defending herself. But that's how people, it's the parasocial relationships. It's the flying monkey behavior. We talk about that. And it's not just isolated to one social media influencer that we talk about. It is a pandemic. It's an epidemic. It's bad. It's a problem out here, y'all. We need rehab for flying monkeys all over the social media. Yes, Alice. Some people are delusional. So delusional. Eric, NCAA, not cute at all. Yeah, he was not. I don't know what he look like now. Sometimes people age and they start to look a little better. I have no idea. I ain't never seen him. I haven't seen him since basketball wife days. Jennifer must have had eye surgery. Her fiance's eye. So you mean she can finally see? Back then she had cataracts or something. She couldn't clearly see based on her choice of men. She wants a man with hips bigger than her. And that was the crazy thing. So even, again, when we do the deep dive, when I do that video, you'll see where she literally dragged him as well for his wide hips and all the stuff that we all talk about. Even the one I just read where she said, Tim, run. What? How the hell he gonna run with them hips? That's that load he carrying. So... So she was dragging him too. So she was aware of these things, but that's what makes me say, well, what was your attraction? Not that you can't be attracted to someone in spite of their flaws, but it's kind of like the way she drug him made me say, were you ever really in love? Were you really ever in love? But yeah, so that's all I have for today. I know this seems crazy. Like y'all like, what, huh? Wait, Vel, what you doing? Y'all ain't got me I ain't seen no starred comments. I'm just like, all right, well, I'll let y'all go. Obviously y'all have had enough. What has happened is I've been gone so long that you guys have found other things to do with these out this particular time of your weeknights. And so y'all like, come on, Vel, hurry up and get this over with. I gotta get back to my routine I created since you've been MIA. I get it. It's my fault. So with that, I thank everyone who has joined this evening. Thank you to my front end moderators, Precious G, Alice, and whoever I may be missing. So a lot of y'all, well, I'm just saying, I don't know, whoever else I'm missing, thank you so much. And on my back end, we got Precious and Alice on the front and the back end. And to all the rest of you, thank you so much. I will be back later this week. I just realized I never pinned it to the comments, but you can follow me, connect with me, and find out when I'm going live by, thank you so much, whoever posted that. I am putting it in the chat now. Connect with me when you, that way you know when I'm going to go live. I send out notifications. I'm pinning it to the top. That is my Linktree link. You click on that, it's going to show you every possible place you can follow me at. And if you are a part of the VIP Facebook group or our text community, you will get notifications when we go live. I'm guesstimating Thursday and possibly Friday too, because I feel like I owe y'all. But I'm gonna reduce the live streams to like 2 to 3 times a week max, most likely like 2 times a week, because I got to get the other content out. I'm trying to grow the channel, and there's a lot of things to this that, there's a lot of things to this. The executive VPL on the Patreon, which you can also join by clicking that link that is pinned to the chat, to the top of the chat. And also, if you watch this on replay, it'll be pinned in the description area below. But they know the inner workings of why I'm having to shift a bit. So with that, thank you, everyone. Y'all have a great evening, and I will see y'all later this week. All right. Peace.